here. So let me send over this link, and you'll see it in the chat window of Zoom. And if you could do me a solid and share your screen, then we could kind of see what you're looking at.
Close out. Got 1,000,001 other things open here. Bear with me.
No worries. I got a zillion tabs open, and people always make fun of me, so I feel your pain.
Do you guys want me testing this in Firefox, Internet Explorer, or what?
How about Chrome?
Chrome here.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay. Let me do this. Cool. Okay. So Dan, let's kind of get this thing rolling. So I need to put your imagination cap on. And let's say that we are currently viewing company level permission templates, right? So basically these permission templates will, control access to company level tools. But let's say that you wanted to view project level templates. So basically templates that control project level tools. How would you do that, Dan?
If I want to look at my permission templates, one of two ways. I either look at my sorts. Filter up here then.
Okay. All right. Cool. So now, Dan, let's say that you wanted to generate a permissions report detailing the usage of all of your project permission templates. How would you do this?
So clicking over here, just right off the bat, I don't really like the drop down. Just because it's confusing. You have your search, you have your group by, your filters up here, and this is another drop down. So I don't know, it just, as a user experience, and it just doesn't visually stick out. Ideally, you'd want something over here is action reports or something like that off to the side rather than something within the table, because you assume it's a control for the table. Just a little odd placement and configuration.
Okay.
So generate report.
All right.
Do you want me to click it?
Yes, please. Okay, and feel free to interact with this screen as long as you like.
Okay.
And then, do what you need to do after you're done with it. Okay. So tell me, Dan, what you see here on this particular screen, and this is something that you were basically expecting to see.
Based on the user, sorting my report, whichever group I want, or whatever filter by user, by company, things like that.
Okay.
The one thing that's a little odd is it's usually you never have a Dropbox of unwanted data. It's usually the Dropbox of the data you want. So that's a little odd. So usually it'd be something I would select all, except for that one, and then I would say move to data, not unwanted. That's just out of the norm, I think.
Okay. 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 So let's say that you wanted to um, view architect engineer data. How would you view that architect engineer data?
Click on the drop down.
Okay. And if you get rid of that guy, just kind of click outside of the drop down. Yeah. Cool. All right. So now let's say you wanted to view user access for all the tools controlled by the architect engineer permissions template. Again, how would you do that?
Clicking the drop down of the permission tools.
Okay.
And then there's all the access, and I can dive into each one. So on the home page.
Nice. Okay. So Dan, do me a favor and again, take a look at all the data for this architect engineer template and tell me, is there data that you think may be missing, or that you're like, hey, John, I need this data?
I mean, I'm skewed based on the last one. If there's a custom one, that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. So if you can think of it, please let me know. I've actually had customers email me saying, John, you really need to have last time the user logged in, or any of those kinds of data points. Please let me know.
Yeah, I mean, for that I was thinking more on just the tools permission, but yeah, I mean, that's something crucial. Last logged in.
Yeah, so take a look at this. And again, is there anything that you are like, hey, dude, you really should include this data point?
One that's always interesting. So you have Matt Kemp, what companies within what project. So as a global, if he shows up on another project, if he's on project 1 and project 3, how would that depict?
Oh, basically, you would have project name, you would have project 1 and project 3. So it actually would have Matt Kemp taking up multiple lines. Okay. So you have Matt Kemp, all of his projects, using this particular template.
Okay. One thing that would be interesting is if it's not the, I guess, parent company, but if there's ever one of my subcontractors or architects, so if this is my Procore, and the architect for some reason over here under submittals, they're an admin, that would have almost like a tag, because there might be a user error that somebody clicked an admin when they shouldn't be. They should be a custom role rather than admin. So I don't know, color coordinating some of that stuff, because really at the end of the day, me and my own portal should be the only admin. I shouldn't have outside admins.
Right. Okay.
So something like that would be beneficial. Last logged in is always crucial. Or if an invite, last logged in or invite sent kind of is always a good one. A lot of people tend not to register. And then being able to resend an invite right from this page.
Okay. Anything else you could think of?
I don't think so.
Okay. I like that invite sent. That's a good one. I'm going to add that. Cool. Okay, so now let's say that you're looking at this and you say to yourself, I don't really want to include the transmittals tool in my particular permissions report. So if you didn't want to include that transmittals tool, what would you do?
For the architects one?
Yep, exactly.
So Dragon's my unwanted.
Okay.
Again, that just seems odd to me. Typically, that's the things that I want, not the things that I don't want.
Okay. Let's have a conversation about that after we're done, because I kind of want to like pick your brain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 7, with 1 being very difficult and 7 being very easy, again, how difficult or easy was that task?
Say very easy 7.
Okay. And then how difficult or easy was it to actually find the transmittals tool?
7, easy.
Okay, cool. All right. So now let's say you don't want to include any of the construction financials tools in this particular report. What would you do?
Same as the transmittals, drag and drop.
Okay. All right. And let's say you didn't want to include last login data. What would you do?
Drag and drop.
Okay. All right. So now let's say you wanted to rearrange the columns, right, in your report so that project name was positioned to the right of the user. What would you do?
Simply drag and drop. Sluggish functionality here, but
is that not working?
It's recognizing it, but it's not moving for me.
Oh, all right. Okay. That's weird. I'll look into that. But you are correct. That's how it would. Okay. So if you wanted to view the tasks users could perform, right, in the directory tool, how would you find that out?
And any user?
Users using this particular permissions template.
Drop down in the directory.
Okay.
If it wants to work.
Scroll down a little bit. Maybe that might. Try scrolling down. Or a little bit more. No, up. Okay, now try it. No?
It's not playing nice with me.
Ah, that's weird. Okay, but that's it. That's basically how you would do it. Okay. All right. So now let's say that you wanted, right, in your report, you're like, you know what? I don't really want to include company admin, drywall, electrician, estimator, foreman, owner, plumber, and PM, those permission templates. What would you do if you didn't want those templates in your report?
I don't know if it's frozen or not, but I would do select all.
Okay.
Deselect the groups that I want and then drag them over. So company admin, estimator, foreman, owner, plumber. What was the other one?
Last one is PM.
I don't know if it's playing nice with me today.
Okay, is there...
Move, there we go, moved unwanted.
Okay. Nice, okay. Tell me what your thoughts on that one, because I know at first you tried to drag and drop.
Force of habit. I mean, if I was able to drag and drop anything else, why wouldn't I be able to drag and drop that?
Yep, no, that's good. Cool. Yeah, I was actually going to make all those drag and drop, but I'm trying to test to see whether or not, if it's a little bit different paradigm, people would get it.
Yeah, it's one of those, you're training me to drag and drop everything else. So that really you're breaking that training methodology that I have to click that button rather than drag and drop for that one. So it's
No, you make 100% so much sense. I mean, that makes total sense. Okay. So if you wanted to create a custom report, how would you create a custom report?
That's an interesting comment because technically this is a custom report, I would say. Anything from the norm of all would be a custom report, but click on customize report.
Okay. Again, interact with this as long as you like. Okay. So let's say that you wanted to create a custom report that includes every permissions template. You want every permissions template, users, company, and project name. And again, you wanted to organize it by permissions template. How would you do that?
So customize report, add all, group by templates. And then what was the second?
You wanted to add, let's see, users, company, and project name.
I assume add assigned user data, but I can't click there.
What? Try, why is that not working? Could you just move your page a little bit lower? Or, yeah, move your, see if you, yeah, now try.
There we go.
There you go.
So user, company, what was the other one?
User, company, and let's see, what was the other one? Project name.
So submit.
Okay.
And then it's filtered by template.
Yep.
And then export report.
Hold on, Dan. We got to do some other stuff before we export. Okay. So if you again wanted to edit the architect engineer template, how would you do that?
So drop down to the architect engineer template.
Okay.
Figure out what I want and don't want.
Okay, so let's say that you didn't want that transmittals tool. How would you get rid of it?
Drag and drop again. There we go.
Okay. So again, Dan, on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being very difficult and 7 being very easy, how difficult or easy was that task?
Easy.
Give me a 1 to 7, Dan.
7.
Okay. And then how difficult or easy was it to find that transmittals tool?
7.
7? Okay.
The only thing that's odd is the layout. So in the previous screen, you had it columns.
Yep.
Whereas this one, you have it all laid out. Just visually, this takes up more space, like kind of like the other one, but either or is fine.
Okay. So keep that thought in mind, Dan. Keep that thought in mind because we're going to talk about that. That's one of the things I wanted to really kind of ask you about. Because, see, I have a custom report option, and it's in this hidden link. So you know where it says 1 of 1, page 1? At kind of the top of the page.
Where's that?
It's 1 of 1 on the right-hand side, right below the black bar. Yeah, that one. Yeah. This is a hidden link, so click that. Okay, so again, interface with that as much as you like. This is a second version of the reporting option, custom reporting option. Okay, so in this one, you want to create a custom report that includes permission templates, template type, user, company, and project name. Again, you wanted to organize it by permissions template. So how would you do that?
Permission,
Template type,
user,
yep,
company, and then what was the last one? Project name.
name,
Project name, and then group by
template.
template.
Okay, all right. And again, wanted to edit that architect engineer template. Okay, and you wanted to remove the transmittals tool from your report. Right? So again, on a scale from 1 to 7, with 1 being very difficult and 7 being very easy, how difficult or easy was that task?
7.
7. And how difficult or easy was it to find that transmittals tool?
7.
Okay, Dan. So you have seen 3 different layouts, right? So the first one was a 3-column. The second one was a 2-column, and the second one was a 1-column, and this is a 2-column. Give me your thoughts on those 3 layouts. And
I probably like the first layout because it takes up the least amount of screen real estate. So when I scroll down and look at architect engineer, it almost fits in all of their permissions.
Mm-hmm.
One view.
Okay.
A little more condensed.
Okay.
But again, it's kind of user preference. So it's, it'd be nice ideally to kind of have the tile look or condensed look or whatever, if you know what I'm saying. Like in Internet or in Explorer, you can do the details view, icon view, large views, things like that.
Right, right. Okay. All right, that's not a bad idea. I'm going to look into that. Okay, so multiple views and let the user basically decide. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So again, if you wanted to create a PDF of this report, what would you do?
PDF of this report, export report. Click it.
Yep.
And then click PDF.
All right. Awesome. All right, Dan, this is the last question. Tell me your thoughts on the 2 custom permissions directions. So remember, the first one was with the drop downs, and the other one was the drag and drop. Again, tell me what your initial thoughts are on those 2 designs.
I'm not for or against either of them.
Okay.
This one's a little bit nicer because I visually can see all the ones that are not included thus far. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other one is kind of out of sight, out of mind, so I might forget something if I only select a few.
Okay.
So I might have created this report, thought I was good, and then realized, oh crap, I needed the last login, so it's as simple as adding that.
No, that's all right. So the drag and drop, and again, don't let me put words into your mouth. What I seem to hear you saying is it allows you to basically see what you dragged and what you didn't drag. Is that a fair statement?
Yep.
Okay. So allow user to see what was dragged. What was it? Dragged, and what was it? All right. Okay, so Dan, let's talk about some of your initial kind of feedback that you're like, hey, this is kind of weird because I'm taking things away and dropping things I don't want into this particular, side panel.
And version 3 that we're in right now is the best because you have a import and export. Typically, any file sync kind of system in the past has always been, here's what's in the left folder, here's what's in the right, drag what you want in the right, not delete what you want. So this one's a little bit nicer in that aspect that I have what am I dragging into the report and what did I remove from the report.
Okay.
It just seems odd dragging to remove. This seems more fluid and more typical to a lot of other systems that are kind of like this, not necessarily a reporting system, but different UX experiences that have a drag and drop feature.
Okay. So let's say that hypothetically, well, actually not even hypothetically, that if you choose that report type dropdown, right, and you can group by, permission templates. Could you do that for me?
Say that again.
See the choose report dropdown.
Okay.
Group by project, or a group by template, I'm sorry. Okay, so now let's say hypothetically, you're creating a report, you want it to group by template, and then you wanted to edit that architect engineer.
Add a filter.
Okay, hold on. So,
sorry, say that again.
Okay, so let's say that you made the explicit decision to create a permissions report that's grouped by template, right? And then you wanted to actually edit the architect engineer template. So could you do that for me? All right. So in this case, right, does it still strike you as being a little weird that you are getting rid of data that you don't want?
Again, it's might be personal preference. In different programs in the past, it's always drag to add, not drag to delete.
Okay. Alrighty. Can you do me another favor? And if you go up to that choose report type and choose group by project, for example. Okay. So, and you hit project 3. So let's say you want to actually edit project 3.
Something else popped open on my screen at me. Sorry.
No worries. So tell me, is this what you were expecting? Whoa. If you're basically going to group by project is what I'm asking you. Are all the data points here that you would expect if you're creating a report and you wanted to group by project?
I would say so.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Well, Dan, again, I'm going to give you almost a half hour back, but that's pretty much it. Is there anything that you can suggest and say, hey, that was interesting, or maybe you should think about X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, so this current view, so I have choose report type, it's by project. Then can I filter?
Yes.
So my company, so this would theoretically filter by Woj, Tarpon, in whatever.
Exactly.
But then, could I filter down into the Woj company and figure out what the permissions are for each tool?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So it'd be the same as the architect and engineer that we looked at previously.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, this makes sense. I understand it. It's pretty user intuitive. It's like I said, the only thing would be is the invite sent, because it's notorious users. I never got it. You never sent me an invite. Or yeah, I did. I sent you an invite on this date.
Awesome.
No, it makes sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Again, if you could think of anything else that, any other kind of data point, please let me know. Email me, whatever. Again, I've had customers after these usability sessions email me like, hey, you forgot this or you forgot that. So again, this is just all really, really great data for me.
Will do.
Okay. Again, thank you very much, Dan. I really appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right. Take care.
All right, you too.
Bye.